or visit yoursensationalsmile.com.
Ivy Lee's Luxe Makeup and Beauty Lounge in downtown Boca Raton does fabulous professional makeup application. Make an appointment today and see how glamorous you can look. Call 561-409-4065 to book your appointment. Ivy Lee's Luxe Makeup and Beauty Lounge is located at 233 South Federal Highway on the first floor of the Boca Grand Building in Boca Raton. The number again is 561-409-4065.
The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
It's the Becky and Boca Show, coming to you live every Thursday night at 6 p.m. from glamorous downtown Boca Raton. I'll show you how to live life in style in one of the country's most elegant cities, nestled right along the beautiful Atlantic beaches between Palm Beach and Miami. So sit back, relax, and let me show you how to indulge yourself Boca style. Hello, welcome to the Becky and Boca Show. I have a show for you tonight that I've been working on for a long time. We are going to talk about medical marijuana with a doctor, an MD, that prescribes it. And I actually have a cancer patient here who is on the regimen. And I've been trying to get doctors in here for a long time to discuss it, but it just became legal in Florida, I think, back in January, and there have been a lot of issues, and people are scared to talk about it. And now I think we got some of the kinks worked out. And I have this doctor coming, Rabbi Kashouti. He's an MD up in Stewart. Okay. And he's on the road right now, so we're hoping that he makes it in time, and I'm going to bring him in. But we are going to start with Leanne Hart-Diuda, and I have had her on the show a couple of times, 3 times, I think, 4 times. This is the 4th time. Okay, she's one of my favorite guests because she's such a happy story and such a happy person, and probably the worst thing that could happen to someone happened to her. She was diagnosed with terminal cancer. How many years ago, Leanne? You're going to have to get a little closer.
February of 2016.
2016, okay. And she ended up going to the ER, and they found how many malignant tumors in your brain?
12.
12.
And then all through the lungs. They knew that it wasn't brain cancer.
It was metastasized from the lungs. And you weren't a smoker. This just happened to you. So she was given a 3-month life expectancy, correct?
Yes. Without treatment, they said at best 3 months.
So, okay, you got to get closer. They're signaling me. Okay. So you had a very bad prognosis, but then a couple of things happened. You were eligible for genomic treatment, right, where they test the tumor and they test what the genetics of the tumor?
Right. They kind of test the molecular makeup of that
Mm-hmm.
gene, and it enabled me to take a targeted therapy drug.
And I've had you on a few times, and I've done a lot of research, so I know that only a very, very small percentage of cancer patients have the kind of gene that would allow them to take that.
Yeah, it's very rare, like 2%.
Right.
And lung
So
cancer
that-
is very prevalent. So.
And you were stage 4, correct?
Yes.
And there is no stage 5?
No, metastatic. I what stage is that? I asked. They said, well, you're metastatic. That's stage 4. I had no idea.
You had stage 4 metastatic cancer metastasized to your brain. And here you are today.
I know.
And you were texting me yesterday that you were getting all your scans done. And this time it was a big scan. It was a PET scan. And you hadn't done one in 2 years. You do the other tests more frequently.
Every 3 months.
But the PET scan checks for distant metastases, all of your organs, right?
Yes,
Which is the big
yes.
fear of someone that would have a cancer.
Yeah, where is it going to come up when?
Is it going to show up in the bones? Is it going to show up
Exactly.
where else? The liver, anywhere, right?
Bladder, liver would be, common for lung cancer patients.
Okay, so what was it like waiting on the results for that test, Leanne?
Not so good. And the preparation really, I'm not usually, I don't get like that, but I made myself a little crazy.
You told me you flooded your bathroom.
I did. Yeah, my poor
Oh,
son.
I can't imagine waiting for that because it had been 2 years since they had checked
Yes.
for those organs.
Yes.
So you want to tell us what happened with the test?
Yeah, so the brain scan, the brain MRI, I knew right away. So Jill Chowdhury emailed me right away that
he's
it
a great
was
guy.
good. But I was still waiting for the PET scan.
And that was the one you were most worried about because if it had
Yes.
spread to distant organs, that's a whole other...
Right, and it had been 2 years since I had had a full body check. The brain is every 3 months. CAT scans of the lungs are every 6 months.
Okay.
And so it wasn't until 2 o'clock yesterday.
Why do they wait 2 years to do that?
Yeah, I have just always had, because I was having my lungs scan every 6 months and my brain
Oh, so
scan
there was
every
nothing
3
there,
months,
so
and there was nothing
the
there.
idea of it, metastasis.
But,
Okay, I see.
it was time.
Okay.
So.
And?
And the news is I'm clear. I am
Completely
still
clear.
Clear.
Okay.
Yes.
I keep telling you
So,
So
amazing.
you don't have
God
any
is
cancer anywhere in your
good.
body
No,
now?
I don't.
Not in your distant organs, not in the lungs where it
No.
initially appeared, and not in the brain.
No, I am healthy as a horse.
That's pretty miraculous, Leanne.
It is. God is good.
It's actually just amazing.
It really is. It's a miracle. It's, when you get that diagnosis, your world changes forever.
Mm-hmm.
And
And it came out of the blue. You young and healthy. I want to point out, you're a personal trainer.
Yes.
So you worked out, you ate right.
Yes.
And-
Always. Did triathlons. Very, very active. And
I know you've told this story on my show before, but there might be people that are listening now and watching that didn't hear it. Tell us about how you figured out that you had terminal cancer.
Yeah. It's interesting because I had done a triathlon in Miami in August or September of 2015, and after that race, I asked for an inhaler because I just was having such a hard time
Did you
getting
have
my
asthma or
breath.
anything?
Well, I had younger,
Yeah.
I had here and there, and
So
and
this was
that's-
because there were tumors in your lungs that you were having trouble
Inhaler,
breathing,
yeah,
but you
and
didn't know that.
That was probably in January. It was about 2 or 3 weeks before I was diagnosed.
Oh, my gosh.
And 2 weeks later, getting ready to take my son to school, was totally numb on the left side, and called my chiropractor and said, "What's going on? Is this from a pinched nerve?" And he said, "No, you need to go to the ER." And they immediately scanned my brain, and the journey began. Yes.
12 malignant brain tumors. Only one operable, right?
Yes, I had brain surgery 3 days later.
They took out the big one because that was the one that was causing the
It's
symptoms.
3
correct?
centimeters. It's on the right side. So I have a nice personality scar. That's what I call it.
Personality scar.
And since then, I spend a lot of money on medical insurance and scans and out-of-pocket deductibles, and it's amazing what people spend to stay alive.
Oh my gosh.
And you can have all the money in the world, and it
And
guarantees
if you didn't have
nothing.
insurance, you probably wouldn't have even gotten those medications that saved your life, correct?
My drug is $15,000 a month.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Do you have to pay any of that?
I do. I've spent about $30,000. Not about. I have spent $30,000 this year as
This
a
year?
well patient.
Oh.
Between premiums and out-of-pocket deductibles. It's a very costly disease.
Oh.
So what do people do that
That
don't
can't afford
have
it?
those resources to go to Lynn Cancer, to have the amazing doctors that I have, to be able to do the genetic profiling?
Well, I do think when we interviewed, who's your doctor from Boca Hospital?
Well, Dr. Chowdhury is
He-
my neuro-oncologist,
Okay, I
and
think-
Dr. Begas is my lung
Okay, I think
oncologist.
Dr. Chowdhury told me that in cases like that, they can appeal to the drug companies, and the drug
We-
companies will.
Yes,
will
but
help.
it's all a matter of how much you make.
Oh, yeah.
So, if you're lucky in your portfolio and make a little bit of money,
You're
it's
ineligible.
not so good, right?
Wow.
So it really is, it's a catch-22.
Mm-hmm. Well, that just doesn't seem right. You have to figure something out for that. That's really sad.
Yes.
Oof.
Big farm.
Yeah.
It's a problem.
Wow. Okay, so you attribute your survival to the genome medication, but also you've been doing marijuana as an adjunct.
I do, and I say marijuana. I don't use marijuana. I mean, my first interview was with Barry Rapkin from Raw Juice.
Right.
I
Came in here.
believe, first of all, I knew nothing about a plant-based diet, and he was the first person that taught me about that.
Are you
and
on a plant-based
juicing.
diet now?
I wish I could say I was, but I'm not totally. But I probably do 3 to 4 days a week where I'm strictly vegetables and greens and beans and
Good for you.
But I eat a little bit of chicken, a lot of fish.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started juicing, and thanks to Raw Juice.
Yeah, they're great, aren't
They
they?
take good care of me Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You can always find me at Raw Juice picking up my bag. And
I love Raw Juice.
Between green juice, I consume about 20 pounds of vegetables.
Wow.
A
Well,
day,
you look amazingly
a day.
healthy.
Turmeric, ginger, and
Oh, yeah, he tried to give me those little turmeric shots.
yes,
Ah,
yeah,
not
they
a
don't
fan.
taste so great. And I will always probably take my targeted therapy drug, Albegus says, Dr. Begus.
You were saying that he said you'll have to stay on it indefinitely.
Yes, until
Okay.
it doesn't work.
But that means you have to pay for it
Reassuring.
indefinitely.
True.
Wow.
So it's that.
rough.
And I was told that I needed to start generalized chemotherapy and whole brain radiation
No?
right away. No.
Oh,
At
initially.
my diagnosis. And I chose not
didn't
to.
do it.
I said, that is not my way. If this is my time to go, God will take me, and I'm not going to let
Ah,
myself
I know we had
deteriorate
discussed
like
this,
that.
and you were afraid that it would alter your brain to change your personality, change who you were.
Oh my gosh, you wouldn't,
Yeah.
Mike Casper, Dr. Casper said to me, "Can you count backwards by sevens?" And I said, "If you think I can do it now, I can't. But if I can't even do it now, what am I going
Imagine
to
what-
be like?" It just wasn't.
Yeah, it would be devastating. And
Anything that I wanted to pursue at that stage. It's not like I had a tumor or 2 tumors. I was full of tumors. And they would have had to have pumped enough chemotherapy in me to kill an elephant. I don't
you
know.
didn't, in the end, you didn't have to do any chemotherapy. Did you have to do
I
any
did not
radiation?
because I refused it.
Oh, they wanted to do that in
Yes.
addition to the...
Yeah. Oh yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. And
Ah,
so
so you wanna-
University of Miami said the same thing: whole brain radiation.
Oh.
And I wasn't a candidate for targeted or for pinpoint radiation because I had more than
They wanted to
4
radiate your
tumors.
whole brain?
Yeah. So I said no, and I started reading about cannabis. I started reading about it, and I joined this site on Facebook that was Cannabis Oil Success Stories.
Oh, wow.
And I read for 4 months, and I said, "Be high or die." I'm going to try to. There's something to
You
this.
tried that in addition to what you were doing with the...
Well, I wasn't on. I had been on my targeted therapy drug maybe 3 months, and I was like,
and then you decided to go ahead with the...
yeah, and then I started
Just
doing
because you
oil.
thought it might help, it might not?
Oh no, it eradicates tumors.
Does it?
Definitely.
Okay, well, hopefully the doctor will come in and tell us
Yes.
something about that.
Yes.
So you started that, you said 2 months after you started the...
I was diagnosed in February. I had brain surgery in March, April, May, June, July. It was August I started cannabis oil. August, September, October.
Okay, I just got a signal that the doctor is here. So we're going to
Okay.
cut to a quick
good.
break and bring in her doctor.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks.
Dr. Candace Colella of Colella Cosmetic Dentistry in Coconut Creek provides family and cosmetic dentistry for patients of all ages and is the only dentist in South Florida offering Solea laser dentistry. No pain, no anesthesia, no shots. With over 23 years of experience, Dr. Colella does fast braces, dental implants, veneers, and more. She can even finish off your smile with Botox, fillers, and lip augmentation. Call 954-428 888-692-6923 or visit yoursensationalsmile.com.
You've been listening to and watching The Becky and Boca Show. Ivy Lee's Luxe Makeup and Beauty Lounge in downtown Boca Raton does fabulous professional makeup application. Make an appointment today and see how glamorous you can look. Call 561-409-4065 to book your appointment. Ivy Lee's Luxe Makeup and Beauty Lounge is located at 233 South Federal Highway on the first floor of the Boca Grand Building in Boca Raton. The number again is 561-409-4065. And now, back to the show.
Confidence.
Okay, back to the second part of the Becky and Boca show. And Robbie Kashouti, MD, has joined us. And he is Leanne's doctor that prescribes the medical marijuana,
Yes.
correct? Okay,
Correct.
you're probably going to have to get a little closer to this. I know they're going to signal me. Okay, so I've been wanting to get you on the show for a long time. I've interviewed Leanne. This is the fourth interview, and I find her absolutely amazing. And how did you find her as a patient?
As you said, she's amazing. You know,
Yeah.
she's a survivor.
Yes.
You know, so she's been through a lot, and having her here, healthy,
Completely
it's a
healthy.
miracle.
I know.
It's a big miracle. of
So
course.
when she came to you, she was just talking about that. It was 2 or 3 months after she started her therapy, the genome, the targeted therapy, and she wanted to do this as an adjunct because she had read about it and learned about it. So can you explain to us how it would help a patient like her going through cancer treatment?
So, you know, medical cannabis is a very complex, I would say, subject. And,
Yeah.
To use in a case for Leanne, just to use medical cannabis alone, I don't think it's enough. Of
Right.
course, you have to use it as adjunct treatment, as you said it. It has many positive, I would say, reactions towards cancer cells in terms of killing them, slowing the process of growing, and even inhibiting, I would say, other effects of the cancers growing too fast in certain tumors. And studies had shown that it does have positive.
It's very interesting because I think most
reactions.
people don't know that
That's right. Not too many do.
that it
And,
can be used to combat cancer.
Even physicians may not believe that, even though many studies.
do you
have
run into
shown-
that a lot?
Many.
Other
yes,
doctors saying that
unfortunately,
it's
yes.
not.
And
not
in
a
her
medical
case, I mean, even with any patients with cancers, if we're not talking about cancer-related benefits, we can talk about the anti-emetic, people who are nauseated from the excessive amount
Yeah.
of chemotherapy, people with pain from the cancer itself. That effect can be treated with
the medical marijuana.
cannabis, of course.
Okay, and she doesn't smoke it. How do you deliver the cannabis to her?
So in Florida, after the law was passed in late 2016, so starting January 2017, physicians were able to prescribe it as a vaporized treatment.
With a vape
oil,
pen?
Yep.
Okay.
Oil or capsules.
Okay.
And recently we started to add paste also. So each patient is different. I use a different criteria, depends on what the patient presents with. I use sometimes vape along with capsule or oil. Sometimes I use a paste alone. So based on what the patient requires, I recommend and prescribe it.
Okay. So it's interesting to me that you're not only using it for the symptoms of cancer, but you're telling me it helps to cure cancer.
It can help slow down the process of the cancer growing, of course. Yes.
That's amazing. Okay. So how do you take it, Leanne? I mean, every day?
I do. I take it every night. I don't take it like I took it when I was very sick and full of tumors. I slept for 3 months. I didn't drive.
Yeah, you were telling me it wasn't pleasant.
And so that was a totally different protocol. And, it's just one of those things that has such a label on it. And, people really need to read. They need to do their research.
Yeah.
They need to really know the power of cannabis, because even though I took a targeted therapy drug that for 6 months before I started doing cannabis did stop the growth of any new tumors, no new tumors came, no growth happened. It just held it
Stopped,
at standstill.
okay.
And in combination with all the juice that I do, and I'm going to say cannabis oil because it wasn't until being on the same drug 3 months after I started doing serious amounts of cannabis oil and sleeping did my tumors start to shrink. So
Wow.
I believe cannabis has the power to eradicate tumors. Absolutely,
Okay.
without a doubt in my mind. I will never stop doing cannabis oil. It will always be in my body because this isn't coming back.
Okay. And doctor,
course.
you say there are studies to support this?
Yes, of
Okay.
course. I mean, if we go back in time,
Mm-hmm.
thousands of years ago, the Chinese civilizations, the Egyptian civilization have used cannabis as a treatment for pain, for other issues medically as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it has been used, and we do have the experience using it. Even in the United States, early 1900s, it was recreationally available, and over 2,000 products was used. 2,000 different medical cannabis products were available in the U.S. up to 1937.
Oh, you're kidding. I did not know that.
2,000 different products, over 280
Wow.
different manufacturers.
And then why did that cease?
There were a lot of political reasons behind this, mainly Texas and Mexico political conflicts between the senators at that time and
Oh, wow.
Mexican migrating towards Texas. In 1937, the Marijuana Tax Act prohibited marijuana and made it illegal.
Oh.
So it was mainly political,
Oh,
not
that's a shame.
medical, unfortunately.
Wow. And so now it's kind of difficult to get medical doctors to think of it as a drug or a therapy.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
Some of them don't
Because
believe in it?
Some don't believe in it. Some think of it as just herbal
A
treatment
recreational-
or recreational
Okay,
use.
yeah.
And that goes back to our culture. Our
Mm-hmm.
culture over the past 10, 30, 40 years had shown us that marijuana is a recreational.
Right.
It's a drug that people use in college or
Mm-hmm.
to just make them high. However, there are much more benefits to that, and the medical use of cannabis is significantly beneficial for patients.
And it's different.
Do you get
it's
high?
not like smoking pot.
Do you get high from it, Leanne?
Yeah, but it's not really like I don't want to get high and go out in the day. I don't, I take it to sleep. And
You take
I'll
it at night.
If I'm at home, I'll do drops, but I don't really want to be out and be like that. And when I did cannabis oil in massive amounts, I couldn't function. I couldn't do anything.
And also, when we say the word high, it's a psychoactive ingredient, which is the tetrahydrocannabinol, which is THC.
Okay.
Now, when you mix CBD, which is cannabidiol, and the THC, the CBD aspect, which has an anti-inflammatory reaction, and anti-emetic and analgesic, can actually inhibit and stop the psychoactive reaction of the THC.
Oh,
So when
okay.
someone smokes marijuana, you don't get the CBD from it. You only get the THC. Therefore, you get the psychoactive reaction from it.
Okay.
Well, when you get it medically, you actually get combination of both.
Mm-hmm.
And that's usually the way I prescribe it. Combination of CBD plus THC.
Okay.
Therefore, the psychoactive reaction of THC goes down significantly.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the...
There is a difference. Yeah,
So
Difference,
people aren't
definitely
getting
so.
high off of this.
Not really,
Okay.
no.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
And other than cancer, what else can you treat with?
Many neurological problems. I have many patients with seizures, epilepsy. It does help
Yeah, I've heard
with
about that.
reduce the frequency of their seizures. Let's say if a patient has 20 seizures a month and have intractable epilepsy, cannabis can actually reduce that to 4 or 5 seizures a month. And then you can adjust the medications accordingly.
Wow.
You can use it for chronic pain.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that, like back pains, things
You
like
can
that.
use it for back pain.
Okay.
For patients, let's say I've been successful in reducing the amount of opiates patients have taken and switch them to medical cannabis, which has been significant improvement in their lifestyle.
Yeah, that's
Bravo.
And
That's
they can
interesting.
function and going out there, without being on opiates.
okay.
Multiple sclerosis. That's
Really?
a big, neurological condition that we see.
So what
And
does it do for MS?
it does help with spasm, so it has antispasmodic effect. It does help with muscle tone to kind of help with
Really?
that too. Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
Glaucoma,
Oh, glaucoma too.
ALS, Lou Gehrig disease. It can help also with.
Does it cure these diseases, or does it just help the symptoms?
It helps the symptoms.
Okay.
It doesn't cure it, but again, many neurological problems have inflammation involved,
Right.
and having the THC and the CBD, or generally medical cannabis, has anti-inflammatory effect. So many of these conditions improve along with other medications that we use. So that's the Parkinson patients also. I forgot to mention that.
Oh, does it diminish the shaking?
It does help with the tremors. It
Okay.
helps with the stiffness that they have. It can relieve their stiffness. It can relieve that anxiety they have. The more anxiety patient with Parkinson has, the worse the tremors are.
Oh.
When the cannabis is involved, then the anxiety goes down, tremors improve, and their walking improve, and their
Wow.
social life improves in general.
Absolutely.
So,
Now, is this covered by insurance?
unfortunately, not.
Oh,
Not
shame.
yet. We hope
Okay.
it will be in the upcoming future, but we don't know the answer to that.
Yeah. That's a shame if it's not.
It is a big shame, yes.
Okay. Is it expensive?
Again, unfortunately, it is, yes. And
Yeah.
many patients tell me, well, I'm going to spend $300, $400 on it. Why can't I just go to the street and get it?
Right. Go buy
You know, my explanation to them is simple: is that when you go to the street and use regular marijuana, we don't know what you're getting, and if you smoke it, you're only getting
don't
the
get the-
THC.
yeah.
You don't get the full benefit.
Well, who knows what it's sprayed with?
Right.
And that too. No, of course,
Yes.
So you need to have the medical benefits of the CBD plus the THC, and knowing how much they're
Right.
getting
So you can dose-
consistently.
Yeah.
So, and the legal aspect behind, getting caught with the marijuana on the street is a big problem too. So
Yeah.
it's always concerning, when patients tell me.
So
that.
this is different from like in California where someone goes to a doctor to get a medical card so they can go out and buy pot to smoke. That's a whole different.
That's totally different.
Okay.
Colorado
Yeah.
and California are totally different ball game than here.
So they don't have that here where someone
Nope.
can just go and okay.
Only medical, yes.
Only medically. Okay.
So when patient comes to see me, I screen them, and if they qualify, and I think cannabis will be helpful, I basically discuss it with them, and there's a process. They apply, and I submit the note, and I give my prescription, and the dispensary will eventually connect with the patient, and the patient can go to the dispensary, or the dispensary can actually deliver it to the patient, which is beneficial as well. So that's the way it has
That's
been.
how it's done. Okay. Okay.
That's why I sought him out, because I had such impacted neurological issues. I didn't just want to go to anyone. I wanted to see a neurologist.
Yeah, that's
That was a
Makes sense.
specialty in the brain, because the lungs were one issue, but to break that blood-brain barrier
Absolutely.
is
Yeah, explain
a
that.
huge
What is the
deal.
blood-brain barrier?
It's
So in our system, we have something called the endocannabinoid system. So that endocannabinoid, it's our own body. So that has many processes which actually controls appetite, the mood. It can help with the depression, even sleep. So many of the endocannabinoid system in us controls everything we do.
okay.
So when you introduce, let's say, tetrahydrocannabinol or CBD, cannabidiol, it can actually penetrate toward the brain and modulate some of those receptors, and let's say reduce anxiety, help depression, help with sleep, control pain, has anti-emetic effect as well. So crossing the blood-brain barrier is a big factor.
It's important.
Many opiates medication cannot cross, unfortunately, the blood-brain barrier.
and they're addictive.
And they're addictive.
Oh, this
has
isn't
many-
addictive?
Not really. Not much addictive compared to what opiates have.
An overdose.
There is not even one case report that has overdose with marijuana.
Really?
You have to ingest over hundreds of pounds
Oh, wow.
to have, obviously, overdose, and has not been documented because it's almost impossible for someone to digest
Okay, that's good.
hundreds of pounds of.
That reason
Marijuana.
alone. I mean,
Yeah,
opiates
you don't have to worry about.
versus cannabis. Opiates, cannabis was originated at the beginning of time.
Of course.
It's not man-made.
Right. It's an herb, a vegetable.
It is. It's fruits of the earth.
Can you describe to us, Leanne, how it feels when you take it?
I think I've built up a tolerance. So
You don't feel high?
no, I mean,
Feel
I
relaxed?
really relax all the time. But I'm a pretty relaxed person anyway.
Yeah, you are.
But it is. It's interesting because one of my physicians had said to me when I've always communicated very openly with
Some of your
all
other
my
physicians might not have
doctors.
been
Maybe not.
on board.
My decisions on my medical, journey were way different, very unconventional, and my doctors, a couple of them looked at me like, okay, see how that goes. I'm thinking,
Yeah.
but it just it just seemed to me like the right thing to do based on what I had read, that what, I need to try this. There's something to this.
So you sought him out on your own.
Yes, and I think I was
How
one
did you
of his
find him?
first 10 patients. I actually was connected to him through a group in the West Palm Beach area called the Cure Group, which is just a pro cannabis organization that kind of helps you learn about cannabis.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think someone emailed me. And
Here,
they
you
said
have to
to
get.
you.
You gotta go.
Yeah.
I think someone
Okay,
emailed
so I
me
want
and
you to
said-
tell me what happened when you found out about this patient and she walked in. Was this a good?
It was, I believe, 2017, early 2017.
2016.
Late of 2016.
Yes,
Yeah,
late.
so-
Well, no, because the law was passed in
In late
January of 2017,
Correct.
and until that point, I was kind of doing it on my own and taking my chances.
So maybe mid 2017 when I
Yes,
saw you.
you are
So that was the
correct.
beginning of us as physicians learning the effect of cannabis. And
So she comes in, tells you her story.
and you were actually one of my first few patients with
Yes,
cancer.
I had to
related.
reschedule my appointment 3
Yes.
times
I
because
remember you
it
telling me
just
you were
was
trying to see
really
him.
hard. It was like this law was passed and everybody was jumping on it, and all the T's weren't crossed and the I's.
And we slowly worked together in getting the right dose for you,
yes,
and has been successful.
I drive 2 hours to Stewart.
I
I
even
wouldn't
give
go
her,
to
I
anyone
give her the
else.
name of a different physician closer
No.
to her.
Oh,
She still wants to come to
you.
see me.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's a neurologist. I don't want to just go to anyone.
Yeah.
This is my brain. This is, and people just need to understand there's a stigma attached. I don't look like a pothead. I'm not a pothead. Pot is what you smoke to get high. Cannabis is what you use to heal your body.
Exactly.
I think there
It's-
definitely is a stigma, and people don't understand the difference between someone like you using cannabis and somebody just smoking it recreationally.
Exactly.
So-
yeah.
Yeah.
What did your medical doctor too? What did your other medical doctors say when you told them that you were
yes.
going to go?
Well, I could see, they said, well, it's your journey, I'm
It's up
I'm
to you,
very,
but they weren't
when I make my mind up, I'm like, I'm going to do this because, chemotherapy is not an option. I'm not willing to take that, and I'm not willing to do whole brain radiation. So I can say that one of my oncologists immediately noticed, oh my gosh, your sense of well-being is night and day.
He said that to you?
Yes.
Okay.
Your sense of well-being is totally different.
Okay.
So I just think, one said, I'm glad you found your way to that.
Mm-hmm.
And one, just, it's okay because it's not conventional medication. It's not for everyone. But I think it was for me, and I think it's for a lot of people. And I think you have nothing to lose if
Yeah,
you have
that's right.
ailments because
Absolutely.
you're not going to get hooked. You're not going to overdose.
Nope.
It's not big farm.
And
It's-
Dr. Kashadi, do you think that eventually oncologists will be prescribing?
Many
Medical
actually
marijuana? Are they doing
have
it now?
started now, yes.
Okay.
In the beginning, there was actually that stigma, as you mentioned, and the same physician who criticized the other physician
Yeah.
who have been prescribing, including myself, now are using it. So
That's interesting.
it's very, very interesting.
Yeah.
Yes. I can go back a year ago and I speak to the same physician and say, hey, you were criticizing me for
And now
prescribing
yeah.
it, and now you are approved to prescribe it.
What did they say?
No answer.
No answer. Well, that's very interesting because I know it's all new in Florida. It just went since January?
January 2017, yes.
Okay, so I imagine it's going to pick up.
It's changing. Every 3 to 4 months, there's a new rule, making it slightly easier on patients. In the beginning, it used to take 3 months.
It took
Which
me a
was-
very
You had to
long
wait?
time.
3
Oh my
months
goodness.
wait, yes.
Why?
Regulations, and they didn't have enough people working on cases, and the demand was so high. Now, actually, the process is much easier, 2 to 3 weeks,
Oh, that's great.
which is great, yes.
So you had to be approved they had to decide that you needed it?
Right. They review your medical
Who
documents.
are
I'm
they,
sure.
though? Who's
They pro-
reviewing it? Who are they?
It's hard to say.
The Wizard
You know,
of Oz.
Your doctor already said.
I have to tell you, I still remember the first time I met you, and in my head, and this is the first time I tell you this, I said, I don't know if she will be able to make it, wait for 3 months. And guess what?
Oh.
This is, me
He
telling
said,
you
Wow.
this.
this is the power of cannabis. People need to know this because for people that have no hope, you need to never
And then-
give up hope.
And if you remember, I said, I wish I have a way to get it for you quicker, but you have to wait 90 days. But deep inside, I was hoping you really go through
Somehow.
that, and here we are. That's
Wow.
amazing. Yes.
So, but now you're the medical doctor saying she needs it. Who is this person deciding whether she needs it or not?
It's hard to say.
These government employees?
As a physician, obviously, it's our decision to make someone eligible or
Right.
qualify or not. But the process of getting it approved is the issue.
Okay,
In
but
the
there's nothing
beginning-
like that for other drugs when you prescribe a drug, is there?
There's some, yes.
Okay.
We do have with insurances a lot of
Right, okay.
issues in terms of you cannot order this medication, you have to order
Right.
this one. Have you tried this one? So in Florida, there was an issue processing the application.
Okay.
So when she sends her application, it gets lost very easily, or they comment on something very silly. Oh, the picture is too large. Oh, your handwriting is not legible, or
Yeah. And then it comes back and it gets started out.
comes back again for another 2-3 months.
Oh.
They're delayed. Some patients in the beginning took them 6 to 7 months.
It took me about 6 months. It took
Yeah.
a long time.
Oh.
Well, just because I had to reschedule my appointments because everything wasn't in place yet. It just took time.
So now it's better. I think eventually we'll see
It's getting- yeah,
improvements
okay.
slowly, and regulations will be less and less. There's a lot of problems for physicians to even get someone approved for cannabis, and now we feel more comfortable doing it
Okay.
because
Yeah, I
we
know
have
everything's
more
changing
experience.
rapidly in this field. How does it treat pain? Like, is it good for chronic pain patients?
It is actually. It's
Okay.
meant for chronic pain.
Okay.
It's not meant for acute pain. So the receptors in the brain, there's many cannabinoid receptors. Mainly CB1 is in the brain. CB2 is mainly in the immune system outside the brain. So activation of the CB1 can actually inhibit pain. So
Okay.
when you have tetrahydrocannabinol, which is THC, it can actually modulate and actually block some of those pain receptors.
Wow.
Therefore, the effect of the pain gets better. So it's a very complex physiological system. We still don't know every answer to cannabis.
Okay.
Over 100 different active ingredients that are available. With the two most studied one are the THC and the CBD that we prescribe.
Okay, and what are most of the patients coming to you for? Is it cancer or is it pain?
Combination of everything.
Okay.
I mean, for me as
What
a
are you treating with it?
neurologist, as you know, MS, multiple sclerosis,
Right.
the Parkinson patients, epilepsy, spasm. But I do see a lot of cancer patients who other oncologists send to
to
me.
you.
Yes. So combination of everything, really.
So you're getting referrals from oncologists.
Yes.
So that's good.
Yes.
They're starting to see that it's effective.
Beneficial, of course. Yeah.
Okay. You're going to stay on this forever, you said?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I think that I believe in the power of cannabis. I think you need to have the cannabinoids in your body. I mean, I don't know if it has any. I haven't had a cold in 3 years. I've had cancer, but I haven't had a cold in 3 years. I don't take a multivitamin.
Wow.
I am telling you, I really do believe that a lot of people need to have cannabis in their body, not to be high, but for wellness.
It can have neuroprotective effects.
Okay.
You know,
What do you mean by that?
Neuroprotective means it can protect the brain cells, either from dying or maybe slowing down the process of dying of certain brain cells.
Oh,
And
okay.
not just the brain itself, maybe the peripheral nervous system means the nerve outside the brain. So that can have some protective effect as well. Now, what are those effects?
Yeah, what do you mean by that?
We truly don't know the exact mechanism, but we do know that it can slow down the progression of certain diseases neurologically.
That's
So,
very important. Okay.
very important neurologically, yes.
Wow. Okay, but you're not saying yet that it can cure neurological diseases?
No.
Okay.
Doesn't cure, it can help slow things down and relieve pain, relieve spasm, relieve stress, anxiety, tremors.
You take it at night, Leanne?
Yes.
Okay, and does it make you sleepy?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's a
I
good...
sleep very well. I mean, I sleep. I always have slept very well. I'm great on 8. I'm
But
fantastic
I would imagine
on
that
10.
when you were first diagnosed, you were under a lot of stress, so you probably didn't sleep much.
I did.
You did?
I always slept. I've got to say,
I worry
my
about one
mom-
little thing and I can't sleep.
I can sleep on a plane, a train, an
you're one of those.
automobile.
I have a son like that.
Thank goodness. And sleep is not overrated. I think it has a
Yeah.
whole nother element
Oh,
to
absolutely.
being well. Yeah.
No, I've used it actually. It's a very interesting point talking about the sleep for patients who actually have problems falling asleep.
Yeah, that's what I
Or-
was wondering. If
Yes,
Or staying
Or
asleep.
staying asleep. That's another.
which
you
is
know.
half of the people I know.
And that's the benefit of the vape when it comes in.
Oh.
So if they wake up 2 in the morning, they just can't sleep. If you take a capsule or a pill or oil, it may take 1 hour to 2 hours to kick in. The vape can take 5 minutes, and then they're
Now
back to
that's
sleep.
If that.
That's huge because, like I said, half of the people I know complain that they can't sleep. So if you prescribed it in a vape, it's what, oil that they put in there?
It's typically oil based. Or,
Okay.
So there are different version to cannabis. There are different, I would say, species. So
Okay.
for someone who has problems sleeping, I prescribe something called indica. So the indica's version of the cannabis promotes sleep. The sativa, which is a different species, it can actually promotes wakefulness.
Oh, okay.
So in
People would do
patients
that in the day.
during
Yeah,
day
I
for
remember. You want the
Parkinson-
sativa. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's how I
Yes.
usually do it. You know, for a patient with Parkinson, they fall asleep a lot.
Oh, so you want the
So-
other, okay.
I usually prescribe the sativa for them,
Okay.
and during the day, and at night, I prescribe the indica.
Okay.
So you have to really to see what the patient has
Yeah.
and play it around. But with the sleep, yes, it has been very helpful, and I've had significant,
Well, and opiates.
Benefits.
Then you're like, no
Yeah.
opiates.
Right.
Yes,
You don't have to do
and-
that. Right.
I had an 85-year-old woman who travels back and forth from Pennsylvania, and she has been on opiates for her knee pain. She was able to totally get off her opiates and just use paste on her knees, and she was able to stand and walk.
Paste. Where you rub it in, actually
it
rub it
under
into
her
the
knees.
spot. It
Yep.
works that way too?
Yes.
Wow.
So she has arthritis in her knees. Now she's able to walk, able to function
Ooh,
because
you
she's
hear
not
this, people? This is amazing stuff.
she's not on any
and
more
not
opiates.
putting
Opiates, yeah.
chemicals in her body that weren't
Yeah.
meant to be in her body.
Wow.
And she's an 85-year-old woman.
Now, when she uses it in the paste on her knee, does she feel the effects also?
Not much, because I prescribe the CBD with it as well. So
Okay.
it's locally applied, so it's absorbed to the area where it's
Wow.
used the most.
Do you know how huge that is?
It's big. Yes,
Yeah,
I agree.
I mean, that really
It's big, of
for
course.
someone with chronic pain, like a
Of
knee or
course,
something.
yes.
Wow. And the sleep issue too.
Sleep
That's
is a big
huge.
issue too.
Okay, so if someone has trouble sleeping, they would put some in the vape before bedtime? Is what?
Typically, I tell them an hour before you sleep, take the oil or the capsule that you typically, let's say, take during the day.
Okay.
Take 2, 3, 4 different puff, let's say, of the vape,
Okay.
15, 10 minutes before you sleep, and then just lay down in bed and eventually
And then if you wake up, you just do another
do
puff.
another 3, 4 puff.
I'm going to tell this to everybody. I
You
know they
probably
can't
will
sleep.
not wake up. You sleep
You probably
very
won't
well.
wake up.
I really am asleep at 9:30 or 10 o'clock at night, and I do not get up even to go to the restroom.
Nothing,
I sleep until 5:30. No problem.
It's a natural treatment. I mean, I prefer to use that on Ambien or any other
Right.
medications.
Oh my goodness! I've never
Sure.
taken a sleeping pill
It's
in my
the
life.
more
So
beneficial.
people that are on
And helping
Ambien
them.
could switch to this.
You know, you eventually develop immunity to Ambien.
Oh, really?
You'll be on Ambien for a year or two, then eventually you develop tolerance, then you have to switch to something stronger.
And there's some scary
or
side effects to
different.
Ambien, too.
Or that, yes.
Yeah. Wow.
So,
Ta-da!
I'm
Cannabis.
trying to absorb this because that's two things I didn't know, that it could be used topically on something like knee
Yes.
pain and that it could be used for sleep.
of course, yes.
And though, sleeping is a big problem for a lot, not for you, but for a lot of my friends. I hear a lot of
Right.
complaints.
Well, it is.
Yeah.
Yes,
It's a very common
absolutely.
issue,
Yeah.
of course,
Mhm.
yes.
Wow.
I'm an odd one. I told you I'm an odd
Yeah.
one. I'm like the miracle, the odd that defies. But wow.
Okay, the paste, the topical paste. What else can that be used on?
You can use it on your knee, besides the knees, you can shoulder pain,
Wow.
elbow pain, knee pain, neck pain,
Back?
pain. So if someone doesn't want something systemic, means something
Right.
that to take every day, if they have pain fluctuating on and off, they don't know when the pain is going to come. So when they have the pain, let's say,
They just put
they
it-
can use it. It can help.
And you put the paste on topically, and about how long does it take to
10,
get the
15 minutes, it gets absorbed. So it's fast.
This
Yeah,
is incredible to me.
It is.
Wow. Anything else it's used for that I might not know?
Besides, you can use it for Crohn's disease or any anti-inflammatory problems.
Oh, Crohn's
any
disease?
inflammation, any inflammatory disease, you can use it. Crohn's disease is one of the diseases approved in state of Florida.
Okay.
But there's many other immunological or inflammatory problems and diseases that can be used as well. But Crohn's disease is named specifically.
Okay, and
in
Crohn's
state of
disease
Florida.
is a digestive?
It's a digestive system and associated with different immune reaction in your system. So
Okay. And would you take it orally for that, or?
same thing. You can use orally if someone had significant problems and they have colostomy or they cannot swallow something. The vape comes in handy. So
Oh, I like that vapes are being used for this. That's interesting.
big benefits, yeah. So
Wow.
my goal is always to mix two different routes of ingestion, whether it's a vape, capsule, oil.
You would
plus,
give one patient more than one
Preferably
way.
always vape
You start with a vape. Okay.
plus something extra.
Okay.
Whether capsule, if they don't like to have capsules or tablets, oil.
Okay.
Almost everyone doesn't have any problems with the oil. Maybe
Okay.
1 out of 10 will say it doesn't taste good. But
And this is what you're doing, Leanne?
Yes, it's a
And you put it
tincture.
under your
It's a-
tongue? Is that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Just a little bit? How much?
I do a dropper full, and I keep it in my mouth 5 minutes.
You just hold it
keep
under
it
your
under
tongue.
my tongue as long,
Okay.
and then swish it around my mouth. And
What does it
then
taste like?
I'm just so used to it. I'm used to it. The other oil that tastes pretty much like dirt and smells like
oil-based,
dirt. and
exactly,
it's-
so.
Okay.
Yeah, so
I can't, yeah.
it's like being in fitness and you just get it
You
down.
just do it.
You just get it down.
Just do it. The night
You
you
get
think.
used to it.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So where do you see this going in the future? Do you think it's going to be mainstream prescribed by most doctors?
I believe so, yes. I mean,
Okay.
speaking local here in Florida, I think eventually, maybe in 2020, it may become recreationally available. We don't know that. We might.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you.
But the demand is so high that the dispensaries are actually running out.
Oh,
So-
okay.
And there are no new dispensaries.
Oh.
So that's also a problem.
Why are there no new dispensaries? That seems like that would be a
that's,
booming business.
That's
Maybe
the
that's
question
what
you might
somebody-
have to ask the senator for. I
Okay,
don't
so
know.
that
It's,
they're
more
regulated by the
political.
state?
Yes.
Okay.
So there's 8 dispensaries, I believe.
Okay.
And they just open different satellite offices. So there is no competition,
Right.
so they can raise the price the way they want, I think. So if you open more dispensaries, the prices go down.
Comes down.
And,
So that might happen
They don't run out of-
eventually. And these dispensaries, would they produce it in all the forms that you're talking about?
most of them do, yes.
Okay.
Some have it in different pen or different taste, or they may add some flavor to it. But ideally, they all kind of copy each other. And,
Right. Right.
So, but hopefully, in the near future, I think in state of Florida will be legally available
For
recreationally
recreational use as
and
well
medical
as medical.
as well.
Okay. Does medical usually precede recreation?
Ideally,
Did that happen
yes.
in California?
California, Colorado
Okay.
as well. Michigan. So,
Okay.
and now other states are following. So eventually, the whole United States will be medically legal to prescribe it. Other states will follow recreationally.
Okay, so if someone's using it here in Florida, like you, and you travel, is it a problem?
Yeah, that's actually
Okay.
a big issue for some of my patients because there's a lot of snowbirds. So many of my patients
Right.
say, "Hey, I'm traveling, let's say, to Pennsylvania or other states. How can I travel with it in the plane?"
Do they let you?
No, they don't.
No?
Unfortunately, because it's a federal
You're crossing
know,
state lines.
Are you
crossing state
kidding me?
lines. So I tell them I don't know the answer to that, and if you get caught, you might be in trouble.
Well, if they get caught, what happens?
It's hard to
They're
say.
carrying an illegal
they're carrying a
substance?
legal substance. Yes.
Oh, they gotta
Despite
fix
having-
that.
I know.
That's crazy.
Well, I haven't heard of any case yet that someone got caught. Man, thousands of people travel every day, and I'm sure
They
a
take
portion
it.
of these patients are traveling with the cannabis.
Right.
Now, I'm not advising anyone to do that, but so far there is no case.
Because you can travel with all sorts of medications.
Exactly, and this is
So-
another medication,
right.
yes. So I
Yeah.
highly doubt the federal government's going to come in and say, "Hey, you need to be arrested.
Because
you have
you- yeah.
cancer, and you're using medical cannabis.
Yeah.
It's illegal.
Right.
Let's get arrested." No, I don't think they're going to go down that way. If they go down that route, I think it will the whole conversation will erupt in the United
Yeah,
States,
yeah.
and
Okay.
Pandora box will open, and I don't
Right,
know
right.
where that will lead.
Right.
So it's hard when someone tells me what I tell them I have no answer.
What
to
do I
that.
do? Yeah. And they
Yeah.
can't get it in a place like New Jersey.
Some areas no. I mean, some states. I think New Jersey recently approved it.
Okay.
In certain.
But
New
you'd
York.
have to have a doctor there and a doctor here.
Yeah, but even you cannot even travel from state to state
Right.
because that's you're going through federal
Right.
clearance, so it's not
Wow.
state clearance.
Wow. So what do you do? Just stay in state?
Yes, ideally.
I'm not going to ask you how you.
Ideally, that would be great.
I'm not
So
going to ask Leanna. She
those
she
are
travels
the
with it.
problems I think we have to clear.
Yeah.
And get answers to, and I don't
Right.
think yet there are any answers to it.
Right. Yeah.
So,
That amazes me that you can't cross state lines with it, even if it's prescribed by a doctor.
yeah,
Wow.
But you can take your Valium with you,
you
can't
can take
Yeah.
your opiates, with
Right,
it,
your
which is-
opiates.
which is bizarre.
It really doesn't
crazy.
make any sense.
That's crazy.
I mean, in the hospital, I cover hospital, and I see many young patients with opiates overdose, and it's sad. It's
Yeah.
sad that why are they even prescribed opiates, and
So they're taking prescription opiates and
Yes.
overdosing.
and that's a common problem in the United States.
I think it's the biggest problem.
It is
Yeah.
actually, yes,
I mean,
it is.
Our kids are dying
Yeah.
So opiate-
every single day. Isn't Delray Beach like the
Yes,
opiate, like
that
the
does.
rehab capital of the United
Yes, it
States?
is.
anywhere in the United States, I think opiates is a
Yes,
problem.
It's a big
Really?
problem.
And this could totally replace opiates.
I believe so. I don't
Okay.
prescribe any opiates for any of my patients.
Okay.
I think there's more problems with it than any benefits. So
And this does the same thing, treats this
it
pain
does.
the same way.
It works better in my
Better.
view.
Okay.
Less side effect, less harmful effect. You don't have to deal with overdose, or you don't have to deal with withdrawal as much. You don't have to deal with tolerance or any other side effect associated with opiates.
Wow. See, that's huge too.
To me,
All these
it's-
things.
It really is. There's
It's a
way-
medical medication that I say it's a medication. In the end of the line, it's
Yeah,
it's a herbal medication.
it is a medication. Okay.
Natural Genesis 128. Look it up.
What's it called?
Let the seed-bearing plants of the world feed and heal my people. Amen.
I'm just amazed by what I learned here tonight because I didn't know all these things. And it's, wow.
And it's been used thousands of years. I mean, the
Right.
first reported cases are dating up 8,000 years
Wow.
BC.
You're
You know.
kidding.
So has been used and has been written, and so it's nothing new.
So we have
People
to
just need to get an education.
Right.
It just still has that blanket over it, that it's a stigma, that
taboo,
it's a
yes.
right, and it's
That's what they're afraid
way
of.
more than that.
Right.
Power is, power is in knowledge, and it's what you know and what you learn. And
Yeah.
I'm so glad I learned
It's
about
interesting, 2 days ago I had a conversation with a pain specialist, and he said some of the doctors he works with, they consider marijuana as a sin to prescribe it. But
Unbelievable.
but these are
I would imagine there are a lot of doctors that
still
feel that
think
way.
this way, of course. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to change their mind.
Right, right.
And some patients in the hospital, in the local hospitals, they actually threaten their patient to be kicked out of their care
If they use it?
they use marijuana.
I have
Whoa.
heard that in conjunction with a cancer
Yeah.
treatment.
Or any other medical cannabis. If
Because
they
the doctor is afraid to be associated with it?
No, they just don't.
They don't believe in it.
They don't believe in it, and they don't want that patient to come back to see them.
Wow.
So there's a lot of
Amazing.
issues yet. Yes.
Okay, we only got 2 minutes here, so I want to tell everybody if someone wants to come and see you,
Yes.
tell us where you are and how they go, your website and all that good stuff.
So we're in Stewart,
Okay.
in Florida, and
Okay.
it's my main focus is neuromuscular diseases, and my colleague, Dr. Yono, who's also my wife, she
Okay.
deals with multiple sclerosis, and
She's a neurologist also?
she's a neurologist
Oh,
as
wonderful.
well. Yes.
Okay.
So, our practice is on 1050 Southeast Monterey Road, Suite 201,
Okay.
and our practice name is Premier Neurology and Wellness Center.
Okay, and that's the website?
That's the website, Premier
Okay.
Neurology and Wellness Center.
Okay, I'll put it all on my social media too.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
And they
thank
do
you.
so much more there. They do really everything. They
Yeah.
do like rejuvenation and
Oh,
Botox.
really?
And they do everything, and it's a
Ooh.
family
It's a
affair.
wellness
Everyone
family affair,
there
yes.
My kind of doctor.
is
Okay.
family, and everyone. It's so worth the trip up there.
Okay, all right. Dr. Robbie
To see you.
Kashouti and Leanne Hurtado. Love having you on, Leanne.
Thank you. Thanks
Always-
for having
always a
me
great show.
again.
Okay, we'll see you
Have
next
hope.
week. Bye-bye.
Oh.
You have been watching and listening to The Becky and Boca Show. Tune in every Thursday night at 6 p.m. to discover all the ways to spoil yourself and have a good time in beautiful Boca Raton. See you next week.
The opinions